This video is sponsored by Factor. Eat clean, stress-free with Factor.
Trick or treat.
Oh, what do we have here? Oh, who are you cuties?
I'm the Shia LaBeouf Transformers. I go boom and I over-sexualize women.
Oh, that is adorable. Here you go. And what about you, little guy?
I'm the Mark Wahlberg Transformers. I'm dumber, lazier, and weirder.
Oh, you sound pretty stupid, but I see you have a dinosaur, so why not? Here you go. And who might you be? I am a beautifully animated movie led by a team who cares for the craft and for the characters. What I lack in spectacle, I make up for it in story and heart. I spark conversations about inequality, injustice, and corruption, all while telling a story about rising up and fighting back for the greater good and not for the power of control. I serve as a stepping stone for a new phase of a beloved franchise. A phase where we focus on the absolute best on what Transformers has to offer. Ultimately, in this era, our goal is to inspire hope and have our audience experience a world where they are committed to positive change.
So what'd you get?
They gave me a fucking apple! Oh, y'all done fucked up. Yeah, I'm talking to you, person who went to watch a Mark Wahlberg garbage fire, but not this. Of fucking course. The moment the Transformers franchise decides to be decent or passable, that's when you guys decide to stop giving a shit. This was a friggin' good movie, and it flopped. Fuck you. And I blame you, people. Where the fuck were you? We all went out and gave this trash $1 billion, but when we finally get a movie that not only is well written, well directed, and well performed, it was also really funny. And we just let it die. But hey, at least now we know where it all went wrong, right? Because when your main audience and target demographic only heard about the movie because of the memes made from a sheer will off of a random guy on Twitter going apeshit, we might have a fucking problem. I know, it's a bit unfair to pin the blame on the marketing alone. There are a lot of factors when it comes to a movie bombing in the box office. It could be because the director wasn't that well known. Nope, he seems legit. Probably the casting was controversial and nope, they're all wildly loved. Outrageously talented, actually. Huh. Maybe animation is no longer profitable. Inside-Out 2 just recently made $1 billion. Could it possibly be because the movie was barely marketed to the public and the only attempts they did make to market were two very misleading and very boring trailers? Yes. You guys fucking suck. Good lord, you couldn't even get them in a fucking Happy Meal? They're literally best known as toys. That shit was a layup. The film gods basically set you up for a goddamn alley-oop and you boinked it? Fucking Illumination does this shit on the regular. You couldn't do the same? Huh? What's that? You got them a Burger King deal? Burger King? For fuck's sake, Paramount, since when do you take your kids to Burger King? Burger King? Burger King? So the Transformers movie was pretty good. Yep, I just saw it in the theaters and I thought it was pretty great. To be completely honest, I'm not really much of a Transformers fan. I mean, I did watch the first 3 Michael Bay Transformers movies for, scientific reasons, but that's about it for me with that franchise. I didn't really vibe with the animated shows. The toys were pretty fucking annoying. I couldn't play with any of them properly because parts just kept falling off. Like, god damn it, if I wanted to play with a toy car, I would've just bought a fucking toy car. But I do fuck with those auto-converting toys though. That shit looks fire.
Hey, Optimus Prime. Roll out.
Want. Oh! Looks like I'll just go fuck myself then. But back to the topic at hand. Let's talk about Transformers 1. Set on the planet of Cybertron, Transformers 1 follows the story of 2 best friends and a ragtag team of misfits on a mission to find the long-lost artifact that will determine the fate of the planet. Released on September of 2024, Transformers 1 immediately found itself in a hole as it struggled to gain any form of momentum in both domestic and international box office. With a budget of around $75 million, all seemed bleak for all die-hard Transformers fans out there, as what possibly could be the best installment of the franchise so far is looking to be a total dud. That is until a sudden surge online miraculously gave the animated movie its second wind. And just like that, we were looking into another version of the elemental phenomenon, where a movie initially flopped hard but slowly gained traction and managed to turn a profit in the end. And the end result? They made profit alright, as the lowest earning Transformers movie of the franchise. Yay! But hey, you know what? Numbers are numbers. What's important to me is that I like the movie. It's not perfect, but it's still pretty fun. The characters are well written, the score sounds absolutely amazing, and the action sequences are top notch. I do have some issues with it though, but we'll talk about that later. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at the movie that is more than meets the eye, but no eyes went out to see. This is Transformers 1. But first, here's a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. Factor has a team of gourmet chefs that create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. Some of you guys already know this, but I have a full-time job. And after a hard day's work, I like to spend most of my nights sitting back at home watching movies while I eat dinner. But after a pretty long, exhausting day, you kinda just don't want to spend your free time stressing about making a healthy meal from scratch. So most of the time, you're probably just gonna end up ordering fast food. Or worse, you're just gonna have to heat up the leftover pizza you had laying around for the past 2 months. I don't want to do that. That's where Factor comes in. With Factor, there's no prep and no cooking. Just straight up dietitian-approved, chef-prepared meals delivered right to your door. Just take it out of the box, heat it up, and bada bing bada boom, you're all set to rewatch Coco for the 47th time.
Have to travel far, remember me.
Grandma Coco, please remember! But there's more to Factor than just lunches and dinners. From easy breakfasts and smoothies to delectable midnight snacks, Factor has over 60 plus add-ons to keep you fueled and focused 24/7. And with a plethora of flavors, you'll never get bored. And that's not all. Factor offers 35 wholesome meals every week, including Gourmet Plus, Keto, Calorie Smart, Vegan, or Veggie options. So you'll always find something you love that suits your lifestyle. And with a wider array of meal plans to choose from, there's something for everyone. So if you want to check it out, head on over to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code beanie50 with a double I to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. Again, that's code beanie50 with a double I at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below and start eating clean, stress-free with Factor. And thanks again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. So our little movie begins with our main character, Orion Pax, conveniently giving us an exposition dump 2 minutes into the movie. Awesome. To be fair, it is a pretty good exposition dump. It's not too in your face, and it is useful. It even comes back later in the movie, serving as a missing puzzle piece, so that's a good thing. But basically, the gist of the entire scene was that Orion is looking for information about a long-lost artifact known as the Matrix of leadership. Yeah, they actually almost always have to say of leadership after mentioning the Matrix, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a copyright thing or a very lore-heavy name that the fans will absolutely tear you apart if you don't say it correctly at all. So, the Matrix of leadership.
With the Matrix in the Prime's possession, Cybertron's natural power source, Energon, flowed in abundance.
Alright, so let me get this straight. So, based on the information said by ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ, as long as a Prime and not a Pawn, for short, not a Decepticon, had the Matrix of Leadership on, then an abundant flow of Energon will keep the power of Cybertron go on. But now that the Matrix is gone, then Energon is no longer flowing from dusk till dawn and is now highly sought upon in Cybertron, as the struggle of living in the city of ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ becomes harder as time goes on, hiding from the Quintessons. Got it. You guys have no fucking idea how embarrassingly long it took me to compose that goddamn joke, so you better fucking laugh. So it turns out our hero was breaking into the ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ City archives, which happens to be a big no-no. So how else can a movie show that our main character is a skilled, feisty, and persistent rebel to the governing body than with a quick chase sequence from the law? And look! Actual transformations! Huzzah! Fuck you, Hollywood, and your lazy-ass nanobots! Whee! quick side note, that joke where Orion packs, fakes, transforms, and runs away is genuinely one of the funniest shit I've ever experienced.
It's not like you can transform.
Oh, yeah? Well, watch this.
Ah, you're fucking stupid. God damn, that got me off guard. Orion manages to shake them off though, and here we meet our second main character and Orion's longtime best friend, D16. Also, for continuity's sake, I'm gonna be referring to them by their initial names and not their final ones. We'll get there when we get there. But anyways, back to the movie. Both Orion and D are mining bots, and they establish that mining bots are pretty much seen as bots at the bottom of the barrel. They're tiny, they don't have transformation cogs so they can't transform, and they're forced to mine for energon, risking their lives every day just for the sake of keeping the city of ᵈᵒⁿ'ᵗ intact. We also get to meet another member of our party, ᵈᵒ, another key addition to my ever-expanding list of Hear Me Outs. And let me just take a time out and talk about the voice acting here for a second. That's Chris Hemsworth voicing Orion and Brian Tyree Henry as D16. And overall, I would say the cast, they're pretty good. It's actually pretty impressive how well their voices suited their character. Yes, I'd agree that once you pay closer attention, you do start to hear the actor more than the character. But I would say their voices don't really stick out like a sore thumb that much. Well, not to the point of it being distracting. It's not like an Aquafina situation where once you hear her voice, you can physically feel your smile disappear. They blend in pretty seamlessly and sound very natural. Not bad for a bunch of A-list celebrities. A little nitpick here though, Brian Tyree Henry does struggle a bit in the beginning, but as the movie goes on and D16 slowly starts to sound more threatening and more commanding, that's where I feel like a switch was flipped. And Brian Tyree Henry immediately sounds absolutely incredible. Let's just say he does an amazing job as Megatron and does a passable job as D16, if that makes sense. But to be honest, the time I was most worried and skeptical about was when Chris Hemsworth was casted as Optimus Prime. If you guys didn't know, Paramount opted to replace the OG voice actor of Optimus, Peter Cullen, with Chris Hemsworth instead, which, I'm not gonna lie, I was a tad bit concerned. Let me explain. Because with a character like Optimus Prime, they've always have had the iconic and recognizable voice. So iconic and recognizable, in fact, that it's basically part of their character. So recasting the dude who's done the voice for years and countless of projects for basically Thor, you'd get a little bit worried that you're just gonna end up with a voice actor who's going to sound like someone simply doing an Optimus Prime impression. What I'm trying to say is it might sound like an impression more than a genuine voice. But to give him credit, Chris Hemsworth surprisingly does a great job holding it down. He sounds younger and much more naive, successfully giving off a himbo, dimwit kind of vibe. Exactly what you're looking for someone who has yet to learn responsibility. And yeah, I know, Chris does try to mimic Peter Cullen's voice by the end of the third act, but maybe it's just me. I kind of still found the transition to be pretty seamless.
Nothing can stop us when we stand together. Together as one.
I mean, come on, that still sounds like his own thing, right? Right? Oh, God. But anyways, back to the movie, we find our heroes mining for more energon. Until cue character building cliche number 55.
It's unstable. Gotta move.
Is our main character going to break strict protocol and try to save someone's life because he believes it's the right thing to do? You bet your ass he does! Later that evening, we're introduced to the only living Prime left in Cybertron, the one who mysteriously survived the massacre, Sentinel Prime.
Hello, my friends. Hello, ᵈᵒⁿ'ᵗ City. I departed with hopes of finding the Matrix of Leadership, the key to bringing balance to Cybertron. I regret to inform you that we've returned empty-handed. Rest assured, I will find the Matrix of Leadership so that energon can flow again.
You're secretly the bad guy, aren't you? Yep. Saw that one a mile away. Yeah, I have a few things to say about Sentinel Prime, but we'll save that one for later. Because for now, we get to the ᵈᵒⁿ'ᵗ 5000. A competition where a bunch of Transformers race to the finish line, all while dealing with obstacles along the way. Very dangerous obstacles.
It's time to show them we are more than meets the eye.
Oh, he said the thing! He said the thing! The race is a pretty solid, well-made action sequence. Every part of it was just non-stop, high-octane entertainment, and they did a really good job making it tense and exciting. From the get-go, they managed to reel you in with the intense music, the camera work, the visuals, and everything in between. Dee and Orion would end up not winning though, leading to them getting demoted to sub-level 50. And here we meet B127, also known as B. You know, the Bumblebee, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key.
You're others. You're not me.
Yeah, you go, Keegan. Earn that paycheck.
I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced
Badassatron.
Get it? It's the word badass with Tron slapped in the end of it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Kind of a weak joke, but hey, you know, at least they tried. Thank goodness that's just a one-time thing and not a reoccurring gag, right? Right? Guys? Right? Now, take a load of this. While trapped all the way down in sub-level 50, our gang coincidentally stumbles upon, and I am not bullshitting you, the missing data from the archives. Yeah, remember the thing Orion was looking for earlier in the movie? There it is. It's just sitting there. The distress signal sent by one of the followers of their literal god was just rotting away in the trash. Thank God Bumblebee's a total nut job and sewed together a bunch of trash that happened to contain vital information about the Matrix's location from 50 fucking generations ago. With the map in hand, Orion, Dee, and Bumblebee sneak out of sub-level 50 and soon later recruit Elita. With that, we now have our ragtag team of misfits on the mission to get to the surface, find the Matrix of Leadership, give it to Sentinel, restore Energon, and save Cybertron. Their little fetch quest doesn't necessarily take up most of the runtime. In fact, the search for the Matrix is fairly short, which I appreciate. The map leads them to what I would consider as a butthole with teeth, where they discover the remains of the other missing primes, meeting the only survivor, apart from Sentinel, ᵒᵦᵗ.
Sentinel Prime is our protector. He's been saving us from the Quintessons ever since.
You have not been saved. You've been living a lie. You are outnumbered but stood as one. Our victory was near. Until we were betrayed.
No. Really? Sentinel? Well, slap my nuts and call me Gertrude. You got me. The funniest thing about this twist is that the ultimate dead giveaway of Sentinel being the villain was that he was being voiced by John fucking Hamm. I know your shtick, man. Ever since the Black Mirror episode, I've been truly, utterly terrified of you. You ain't fooling me. All that's left is for you to play a clearly evil corporate human businessman in an animated movie about talking animals made by Disney. I fucking knew it. Yeah, so I didn't really like Sentinel as the villain. Like, I don't know, something about him just felt vanilla, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, I do welcome straight-up evil villains on occasion. If the movie does it right, it immediately makes the experience 10 times better. However, Sentinel Prime is just straight-up boring. His whole motivation on why he betrayed the Primes was that he wanted the power of the Matrix all to himself. And that's it. I mean, wanting power alone is a good enough reason for a villain's motivation if the character earns it. But Sentinel as a character is still pretty bland. Fuck! Arachnid was way more interesting than Sentinel. Her design, the fighting techniques, the eyes. I mean, come on! She was pretty cool. Kinda felt like she was virtually unstoppable. Until she wasn't, but she had her moments. Sentinel, to me, was just run-of-the-mill. There's just nothing distinctly memorable about him, and maybe that's why I think he's boring. I don't know. That's just my opinion. By all means, he doesn't drag the movie. He actually helps it move along. Like, I get why he's in it, and I get what's his role. We need to have the first domino to fall in order for the domino effect to happen. Sentinel Prime being a traitor and a liar is pretty much the reason D16 becomes Megatron. Maybe leaning towards that reason a bit too much, but I see the vision. I don't know. Maybe it's the bias in me, but I really like the growing tension between Orion and D16. And props to the movie, they do give you that. But I kinda just wanted more of that. and less of this. Again, I didn't really care about Sentinel that much. For the majority of the multiple rewatches I had, I legit had to fight the urge to just skip all his scenes.
You've lost, Sentinel. Nothing you can do.
Didn't I just say no speeches? You heard me, right?
That would have been really swell if you didn't go and did the exact same thing and give back-to-back speeches literally 11 minutes later. So, in a twist, turns out Sentinel betrayed the Primes in the hopes of keeping the Matrix of Leadership all to himself, all while conspiring with the ᵒᵦᵗ. The gang now has to relay the information to the people of ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ and stop Sentinel from further ruining Cybertron. But before they could do all that, ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ would grant them his fellow Primes transformation cogs because he, quote, sees the same spark and strength in them.
Take their cogs and access your full potential.
Mind you, he says this right after D16 just ranted about wanting to violently murder and torture another Prime. Kind of a major oversight there, huh, ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ? You fucking heard him the entire time. The movie shows us this. And you still gave him a cog. Also, can anyone back me up on this? Isn't it dumb that all these years, none of the miners ever thought about maybe possibly having cogs? Like, my brother in Christ, there's a cog-shaped hole carved right at the middle of your chest. Not once did you feel like something wasn't adding up? Well, anyways, the group gets found though, and so off they go.
Yeah, but be careful. I got it. Our proof is inside, and you're spilling it everywhere.
I got it.
And he's gone. Nice knowing at D16 it was fun while it lasted. Yeah, so, D's evil now. Just like that. No build-up, no confrontation. The moment he gets a cog, he just becomes a dick. Which leads to another problem I have with the movie. D16 turns way too quick. Yes, we got his whole rant earlier before receiving the cog, but I honestly felt like the movie kinda rushed his transition a bit. From what we've gathered so far, he's mad because Sentinel lied to him in front of his face. He didn't show much concern about the bowing to the ᵒᵦᵗ, the endless cruel mining, and even the betrayal to the Primes. He's just legit mad that he got duped, to the point where he just doesn't want to be led anymore. I'm sure all his rage can be explained with a blanket statement there. I just felt like the movie could have done a much better job unfolding his turn to the dark side. Back to the movie, the crew narrowly escapes Sentinel's goons but gets captured by a bunch of Ravagers led by former High Guard Starscream, voiced by probably the most perfect casting choice since Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
You think you can insult me and just walk away?
Steve motherfucking Buscemi!
How do you do, fellow kids?
Woo! I'm fucking hyped! Hell yeah! Now this is what I came to see! Buscemi, yeah! Buscemi, no! So, a lot happens in the Ravager camp. D16 becomes more of an asshole. Our crew gets more concerned, yada yada. And ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ unfortunately arrives and ambushes the camp, taking a bunch of bots as prisoners, including Bumblebee and D16. Not deterred by the setback, after a quick pep talk from Elita, Orion Pax and the remaining bots devise a plan to save their people and stop Sentinel. This includes a quick pit stop to the miners' quarters back in ᵒᵒⁿ'ᵗ, where Orion reveals to everyone the truth and rallies them to rebel against Sentinel's authority.
Transform and roll out!
Oh, he said the thing! He said the thing! And up to this point, it's just one big action sequence. Shut the fuck up! It's just one big action sequence that ultimately leads to the battle we've all been waiting for. And straight up, this has got to be one of the coolest goddamn things I've ever got the privilege to see. Optimus Prime versus Megatron. You see, during the whole scuffle, D16 would try to kill Sentinel, but Orion gets in the way and shit, and he gets smirked instead. But D was all like, you know what? Fuck you, pussy, and throws him down to the pits. He then proceeds to rip apart Sentinel and take his cog, which was previously owned by his childhood hero Megatronus Prime, hence him giving himself the name Megatron. Meanwhile, Orion is very much dead, but because of his sacrifice, Primus was all like, well shit bro, here you go, and revives him and gives him the Matrix of Leadership. And because of Orion's unwavering optimism, he's given the name Optimus and earned the rank of a Prime.
I am Megatron!
Arise! Optimus Prime.
Holy shit! That's fucking fire! Just before Megatron would assemble his men to take down ᵐᵒⁿ'ᵗ, Optimus swoops in and saves the day. And I cannot explain just how fucking peak this part of the movie was for me. From the build-up to the fighting choreography to the score, everything just falls together perfectly. This part right here encapsulates just how fun and cool and badass and amazing and epic Transformers can truly be. Two juggernauts, two well-written characters, two best friends fighting. Absolutely amazing. No notes. Anyway, after a long, grueling battle, Optimus would best Megatron and his goons. Well, that guy's dead. He banishes them off of ᵐᵒⁿ'ᵗ, further cementing the loss of their friendship. With the matrix of leadership secured, Energon once again starts to flow all across Cybertron. And for some reason, I guess it also generates transformation cogs for everyone else as well. I don't know how that works, but hey, you know what? I don't give a shit. Everyone seems to be happy with Optimus Prime leading ᵐᵒⁿ'ᵗ, and with the newfound strength in numbers, Optimus and the gang vow to protect Cybertron at all costs, be it against the Quintessons or against any other forms of evil. They set up the war between the Autobots and Decepticons as a relentless conflict between the two factions in Cybertron. A war where one fights for freedom and peace, while the other seeks domination and control. A war we will definitely see in a totally happening, not being discontinued, sure box office hit, totally in development, sequel. Whee! So what do I think of the Transformers 1 movie? Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. It has its issues. Sentinel really wasn't an interesting antagonist, and visually, it's not that stunning or a total eye candy fest. Though, to be fair, the movie didn't really showcase much of it. Clearly, the movie has a story to tell and has that as its priority. But even so, the performances were great, the pacing was well balanced, the action is top-notch, the jokes were funny, and the score is absolutely beautiful. Though the story is predictable and the premise is very much by the numbers, the execution more than makes up for it. There's pretty much nothing more I can say about. It's a pretty fun time. So with that, I'm giving Transformers 1 an 8 out of 10. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Have a great day and a good night, and I'll see you all next time.